As Walt said, all our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them.
Welcome back to WD MagicCast for the week of March 12th, 2023. This is episode 218. WD MagicCast, the show about the mouse, the marvels, the galaxy, and beyond. I'm your host, Matthew Gracon. In this week's show, Dave Gallman and I discuss some of the latest things that Bob Iger has been saying as how to rectify the ship. Correct course, as it were. So join us. Sit back, relax, and let's have some lively conversation. We'll be back after these words from our friends and sponsors.
Hello there, WD MagicCast friends. This is Anthony King, the host of the podcast Force Ghost Conversations. This podcast is your home for cozy deep dives into all things Star Wars, including the latest news, movies, TV shows, video games, books, and everything else in a galaxy far, far away. We can be found on every major podcast platform. Just search for Force Ghost Conversations. This is the way to your next Star Wars podcast, and may the Force be with you.
And now, on with the show. There's always something going on with Disney, and this week is no exception, as Disney and Bob Iger had a lot of fun stuff to say at the, and I'm looking for the abbreviation. I should come prepared to these things. The Southwest Expo.
South by Southwest.
There we go.
SW.
And someone who does come prepare is joining me to talk about this, Dave Gallman. Thank you for...
Hello, Matthew. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. But to get down to it, Iger made a lot of statements. And, well, not even just there, but he's been making the circuit with the media. Mm-hmm. On, was it MSNBC and a whole bunch of other CNBC news medias to talk about his plan, because he's only got now less than 2 years. It started in November, I believe it was, and so we're talking. He's almost down to 18 months, 19 months, give or take. So he's got his work cut out for him and trying to right this ship, as it were. And he's making some bold statements about how he wants the company to be directed and which way he wants it to go. And I think we should go over some of this and discuss kind of in context what this potentially means, and does it change our viewing of Disney or change what we should expect from Disney going forward in the next few years, or is it actually not going to be changing as much as one may predict or think? Mm-hmm.
Well,
so, sorry.
No, I was going to say, he has that limited time frame to try to implement these changes, but who's to say, once he's gone again, that the next person will come in and just switch it right back to the way it was, or come up with their own vision that's going to mess up what he is putting in. So it's I don't know. It's a weird situation for them right now.
It is. But one of the mandates on him is to find a successor, and I think he has learned from his mistakes, as it were, or paying more attention to his mistakes, and going to find someone that's going to be a lot more in line with his vision and the way that he wants things done, and probably someone that he is for all we know, maybe working closely already with and coming up with some of these plans and trying to see, or has a few people that he's working closely with to come up with these plans and see who's going to have the best fit.
Well, was Chapek his choice?
In a manner of speaking, yes. Chapek was his choice, his idea, but in all fairness, I don't think Chapek was the first choice.
Okay.
Some of the things I heard that there was some other people that I think he viewed as better fits, but had left the company, knowing that Iger's time was coming up.
Right.
And they went off to other pastures, kind of leaving the situation to, well, he's what we got.
All right. Well, then you would think this time around he'll make, I don't know, he'll choose more a little bit wisely, because I don't think they're going to pull him back in again for a third time. Yeah.
I don't think his wife would be happy with that. I keep thinking I'm out, and they keep pulling me back in.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Eventually, they're going to have to move on, you know.
Eventually, in the fullness of time, yes. And they keep sticking to this 2-year timeline. I still say kind of wait and see, but...
Oh, you got a feeling he's going to be hanging around a little bit longer than that 2 years?
I wouldn't be surprised either way. If 2 years we came to the 2-year point, and he does hand the reins over, then like I said, I wouldn't be surprised, because that's kind of what the whole plan was. But at the same time, if 2 years comes by and he needs another 6 months, year, whatever, to fully get everything situated, or something has come up where he needs to stick around a little bit longer, it wouldn't fully surprise me either. I kind of
like, they can kind of install the new person, but he'll be back like in on the sideline, you know, overseeing everything, and then you know, if the successor is doing what he feels they should be doing, then he could be like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of. So we shall see. I mean, that's still a little whiles off. It's going to come faster than we expect.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to definitely come a lot faster than we expect. But he seems like he's trying to stick to that plan. So we shall see. But in the meantime, yeah, he's definitely trying to right the ship, as it were. He's trying to get everything in a much more viable direction, a much try to heal the wounds, as it were, and keep the creative end happy, keep the guests and the consumer end happy, and find that harmony that was going on, and a little more balance that was there before he left.
Right. Well, I'm seeing, like, I don't know where you want to start, but I'm seeing the one where he's trying to, or they already initiated the lowering of the theme parks, the price, and he's trying to, I guess, regulate how crowded each park can get, which I think that's a part of like, anytime you go out there, you now have to schedule, like, which days you're going to each park. So I guess that's a part of trying to do a crowd control, right?
Well, yeah, let's start there. Let's start with the park. So one of the biggest things he got rid of, which everyone's cheering about, that he got rid of the daily parking fee at the resort. So if you're staying at a resort and you bring your own car, until recently, you had to pay for your car, depending on what level of resort you are, depending on it, the cost fluctuated from, I think it was $15 to $30 something a night. So there was an added expense.
That's just for
people from bringing their own cars.
That's just for the Disney themes, though. The Disney, like Pop Century and stuff like that.
Yeah, right. Just at the Disney owned and operated resorts.
Gotcha. Okay.
That was actually implemented by Iger several years ago. And so only fitting that he got rid of it himself. So that's one cost cutting thing. The park pass situation that you're talking about, they are rolling that back slightly, particularly for the Disney annual pass holders, giving them a little more options. They're doing some stuff over at Disneyland. See, and that's a weird battle there. As much on the consumer and the guest end that they hate it, because you really have to structure your day and go in and, okay, I have a park pass for this park, but what if I really don't want to go to that park that day and try to switch things? So that becomes more of that's a guest issue, and it's never been too popular with the guests. On the operation end, it is extremely helpful because within a good proximity how many people to expect at a park, and you can really control how many people are in the parks. Now the parks are crowded.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And so it doesn't seem like there's less guests than there were pre-pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
But again, from the operation standpoint, and people don't want to hear this, but this is kind of the cold reality. You do have to look at both ends of it. All right, we're not making the guests happy, but they're obviously still coming. But at the same time, we can better predict where the demand is going to be, which park, so we know how to staff our parks and supply our parks for proper guest coverage on what days. So if Monday the Magic Kingdom isn't going to be as busy, we don't need to put out as much staff. So at that point, we are saving money, saving resources, and we better planning on that end. But if Epcot's going to be super busy on that Monday, okay, we bring in more staff on that day to better provide for the guests and offer a better guest experience, which will make the guests happier, and we allocate our resources in the proper areas, and especially like ordering food and merchandise and supplies to try and make sure everything is optimum for all of that. So as much on the guest end, people may hate that, on the operation end, it actually benefits everybody. And also, if they're able to save money that way, in theory, I'm using that term loosely, but in theory, that passes the savings along to the guests as well. Right. Because again, you're cutting your expenses in areas that you don't need to be putting expenses. So there's the battle as it lays. At the same time, it does give Disney more of the ability to control how many guests appear at a park at a given day. Mm-hmm. So if this day you don't want Magic Kingdom at a full capacity, you can cut back and say only allows X number of park passes for that day.
Well, to that point though, I'm curious, would they ever turn people away? Like if you make the hike all the way out there, you go up to that, you say you don't schedule, but on a whim, you just go to that park. Okay, I want to go to Magic Kingdom today. You show up at the door, you're ready to pay. They'd be like, nope, we're closed. You know what I mean? Yes. They will turn people away?
Yes.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yes, they blatantly will tell you, if you do not have a park pass for that day, you cannot enter until 2:00.
Wow. All right. That's it. 2:00? Because I guess that's people.
2:00 is the switching over point for the park hopping.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep.
And I want to say that's going to be correct. I know if you plan on park hopping, your initial park pass is for Magic Kingdom, then you're going to go to Studios. You don't need a park pass for the Studios at 2:00, but you can't get in before 2:00, but you do have to go to the Magic Kingdom first. So if you're not starting the parks till 12:00, you can't go straight to the Studios. You still have to go to the Magic Kingdom
to check in
for the hour and a half before you head down to the Studios.
Wow. Why? Because you won't be in. Because if you don't check in at Magic Kingdom, you're not in the system. Is that? And then
Correct.
they'll. Wow. Okay. They got it on lockdown. Holy. Wow.
Yeah, and I can see how that doesn't make guests happy, because it is just that extra legwork, and you don't have the spontaneity and being able to just kind of do whatever which day. But moving on, besides the park passes, you kind of had that issue beforehand, before all that started, because your Fast Pass Plus that you planned 90 days out,
Mhm.
you already had to decide what parks you're going to be at. Now, granted, you did
Yeah,
have
true.
the liberty of switching that, and you have the liberty of switching your park passes, but you kind of were already doing that without knowing it.
That's true. Yeah,
Now
because
it is a slightly separate step, and it's got a name.
right. Yeah, because the company can see, okay, we got these, this person's going to be here, they're fast passing this ride, or this person's going to be fast passing this ride. So I can see what you're saying. They come up with accumulate those kind of numbers and know what kind of volume they may have, they can expect, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just it's another way of crowd control and planning. There's a guy with a pencil on a desk somewhere, or a woman with a pencil on a desk somewhere, going, "This is a good idea. This is how it helps us."
Mhm.
On the spreadsheet end, and that the corporations love their spreadsheets.
Mhm. Yeah, but the balancing act, though, because I think I read something where he's trying to keep the price point at a reasonable point, so that the customers are. I mean, we're not going to be happy about spending any kind of money, but just to keep it where you don't feel like you're spending an arm and a leg to get in there. But if you are spending a ridiculous amount of money to get in there, you don't want to be elbow to elbow with everybody. So he's trying to find that happy
Well, like
spot.
I said, that's kind of the other perk of the park pass, is that artificially they can control the percentage of amount of people that are in a park at a given day.
Mhm.
So if they want to reduce the capacity of Magic Kingdom, the studios, whichever, they can artificially do that. They can artificially say the Magic Kingdom is full, even if it's only 80% capacity.
Mhm.
Which, keep in mind, most of the parks do not run at 100% capacity most days. There's a very few times that actually happens. So
I'd like to know if they got like the average amount of people per day, and it like so that we could see it and go, okay, well, Magic Kingdom is only 60% on average full on Tuesdays. I bet, I'm going to Magic Kingdom on a Tuesday then.
they will never officially release those numbers. Now, some of the other website planning sites out there, like the touring plans, for instance, they have come up with algorithms of how to calculate that, and can tell you approximately on a given day how full the Magic Kingdom actually is. The wait time for the rides, and the what days are generally more or busier than others, and what time of year is usually busier. So there unofficially there's ways to find that out.
Yeah, I didn't think of
Officially,
that.
you will never get those numbers, because even whenever you talk about theme park, the theme park expo, where they give out the awards for which park has got the most attendance and whatnot, and the Magic Kingdom always wins, but it's by approximate number. It's never a definitive number. They have that number.
Right.
Not that they don't know that number, because they have a turnstile business, so they're counting every time someone walks into the park, walks into an attraction, whatnot. They have those numbers.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's some accountant sitting there marking like every day, has to have a number on it, and I'm sure they add the yearly attendance up.
Oh, absolutely they do. There's a whole slew of accountants out there crunching the numbers of the parks. By hour, by day, by week, by month, by holiday special, by not holiday special. So they they know exactly who, what, where, when, how, why is going on.
Yeah, because you would think they need those numbers because say if the attendance falls off for a year, they could sit there and go, oh, well, why did attendance fall off? So we got to try to rectify the reason why that went down to try to get them up for the following year. And then you start seeing
the promotions and the discounts and the...
Right. But yeah, they would never, because that could be bad press, you know what I mean? Or good press, whichever way you want to do it. But they're not, obviously, they're not going to sit there and give all good press and then one year not say anything, because then you're going to know it was a bad year and then move on, you know.
But yeah, so it's a weird balancing act for them. Mm-hmm. Now, at the same point, he's talking about right around the same time he said this, we're trying to lower the park price and make it more affordable to go to the parks for the guests, which this was around President Day weekend here in the United States. And at that same point, Genie Plus reached the highest price point that it's ever been.
Whoops.
Now, how they're trying to, the spin on that is we're offering more stuff in Genie Plus for the price instead of reducing the price.
Well, it's kind of like, lower the price to get you in the door, but if you want all the other bells and whistles from Genie Plus, you're going to have to pay for it.
Right.
That's how I would take it, you know?
Yeah. Now, could this be something that we see the price start coming down from in the long run? Yes. Does it? Yeah. That's kind of an unknown at the moment. I think that we will slowly see the price for Genie Plus kind of creep down for a while. Doesn't mean that it's not going to go back up at some point, but for the time being, it will go down for a little while and remain on a lower end. Just to kind of keep people happy and kind of keep people off. It's like, okay, we have to pay for this, but it's not as bad. Oh, remember it was $30 a day.
Right.
Now it's only $15 a day.
Right.
So, okay, it's half price. Okay, it's not so bad. Or they start offering that into a discount bundle. Mm-hmm. If, again, we're talking about if they need to bring in discounts for somewhere to increase how many people are going down there to get people visiting.
I'm surprised they don't bundle that in there. Like, so you know how when the more, say you're going down there for a week and you do the 4 park pass, you know, you want all 4 parks and they bundle together, and the more parks you go to, it's cheaper. You know what I'm saying? Like, than if you went 2 days. 4 days is cheaper per day per ticket. So, but I'm surprised they haven't added like a Genie Plus bundle to that package. You know, do you want this bundle with the Genie Plus, or do you just want it without? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how they do with the hopper and non-hopper, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of like the dining plan.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know, they keep talking, they're bringing that back. We haven't seen anything yet. But until they need to, why would they?
True. No, I get that.
Because it's easier to implement something like that and create demand and have people come aboard and start wanting to participate than it is to take it away.
Mm. Yeah.
So you want to hold off on trying to offer that as an option as long as possible.
Mm. I can see that. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, for me, if I'm going to buy something, you know, if I see what the final price is, that's basically all I'm looking at. I'm like, okay, that's the final price for all of that's included. Okay, we're good. You know, but if I got to sit there and go, okay, that's for that, then I got to add this and then add
plus that. Plus this,
right,
plus
right.
that.
So, you know, it's kind of like when you book a flight through Spirit. Nothing against Spirit, but when you book, it's a low price. But then when you pick your seat, when you pay for your bag, when you pay for your seat, you know, you pay for all that.
Oh, you want to sit on the airplane? Yeah. Oh, hold on.
Your $100 flight just turned into a $400 flight, like everybody else.
You actually wanted to get on the airplane. Okay. See, we sold you a ticket, but we didn't think you actually wanted to get on the plane.
Exactly.
That's an additional cost right there.
Your seat's on the wing, not in the plane. Come on. Crazy.
We had you in with the luggage. which we have to charge you additional for because then you're an oversized piece of luggage.
Right.
Any more than
$50.
30 pounds? Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. So that's what's going on in the parks, and it is a battle. It is a complete battle of trying, because yet again the parks is the moneymaker for them. That is their cash cow. That's the biggest financial intake, despite all the billion-dollar movies and merchandise and whatnot. Parks is where they make their money. So it is quite the tightrope act to keep it profitable, keep it desirable, and keep people coming.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have so many things that you're trying to work through there. And then, of course, there's the whole Reedy Creek situation. That's not Reedy Creek anymore. It's the Florida, the Orlando division of whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's people are wondering that's going to ruin things for Disney. I don't think so. It just means one, they're going to be a little more accountable because it's not Disney selecting the people that are going to be on the board. It's the government that's going to decide what people sit on the board. But it's still basically running the same. They lost some of their capabilities. They can no longer build a nuclear power plant on property, or carry their own militia. But other than that, a lot of it's going to be business the same. If anything, it may be kind of a little shot in the arm that, kind of push things along. I mean, who knows? And we'll see. So that is kind of the twist on what's going there. But beyond the parks now, we have to. You made the mention about Marvel. If you'd want to go into that.
Yes. Apparently, well, I'm seeing two things. That he basically wants to, I guess, the sequels and stuff like that. I think he wants to move away from having like a third and a fourth and a fifth movie from a solo, Ant-Man or whatever, Thor. I think because if I read right, the box office hasn't been too friendly to these movies now. So, so he's trying to, I guess not reimagine, but like come up with something fresh and new to get people going, because maybe he thinks that the Marvel stories are getting stale and going nowhere. I mean, I don't know. I'm not in his head, but in a way I can see that though, because, do we really need a trilogy for every main character? Probably not.
No. Again, it's where Iger said let the creatives be the creators, but at the same time now he's starting to demand a little more of them than what he used to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're in agreement. I'm not sure about everybody, but you and I know are in agreement with did we really need a Thor 4?
Exactly. No, we did not.
But Ant-Man Quantumania,
I felt we needed that one, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guardians 3, I think we need that one. We haven't seen it yet, but just kind of with the scope of Guardians and how it's going, and knowing that this is kind of going to be the last hurrah for the Guardians as we know them, yes, I think we do need this one.
Yeah.
So 3 has been the magic number for Hollywood for a long, long time. And there's talk, okay, probably, Thor with 4 and some of these other ones. I get where he's going though, because then you start you're not creating new marketing content.
Right. And but I'm wondering, is it like he's letting phase 5, we're in phase 5, right? Phase 5 run its course, but going forward, if there's a phase 6, fresh stuff, you know what I mean? Like wrap it up, let's move on, and then maybe a different direction in the future for future Marvel content.
But you know what I kind of find the funny thing is, if you look, and this happened before Iger said all this. If you look back at what Feige announced for Phase 5 and Phase 6 going forward, there is a lot more new content being brought into there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's spreading it out throughout the platforms between the movies and between Disney Plus.
Right.
So just think alone this past year or two. I mean, okay, we got Loki. Is that considered new? I mean, Loki was a background character, and now he's becoming a main character. So I, in my mind, that's a new, kind of a new storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Hawkeye, again, he was more of a background character, but you're also introducing a new Hawkeye.
Exactly. Yeah.
She-Hulk,
Mm-hmm.
brand new.
Brand new. Yep.
You have Ms. Marvel, brand new.
Brand new. Yep.
Moon Knight, brand new.
Mm-hmm.
Not only than that, was it Feige or Iger specifically said, that they want to see more of Moon Knight. They would try to figure out how to work him into things. And I would love to see that, because I thought that was a fantastic
series. Yeah, absolutely.
Oscar Isaac did a great job with that. Mm-hmm. So, yes, please, more Moon Knight, please.
We agree, yes.
Less Thor, more Moon Knight.
I know, I'm done with Thor.
If you're going to treat Thor the way that you did, then yes, less Thor, more Moon Knight.
Exactly.
So, WandaVision, again, is kind of that hazy area of, is it new content, is it not? Because we had stuff of Scarlet Witch before in Age of Ultron and Endgame and Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
So you had some stuff for her. This is kind of continuation off of that. But you did pull Vision into that, and then you also created some other characters. You had Rambo's Ms. Marvel. You have Agatha. So you had some other stuff. So that's a weird place to be. But
it's just listening to you explain all this. It's almost like they did in my opinion, like a pretty good job of, the movies were the main guys, the main actors, the main action heroes or whatever. They were there, and then like the side characters were all released basically on Disney Plus, but they were excellent shows, to go along to move along the storyline, to go along with the main action guys. I don't know if that's the direction you were going, but that's kind of what I got from it.
Yes, that's exactly where I was going with that. They were already spreading it out. You have the Thunderbolts coming out, which it's taking characters that they introduced in other areas and merging them into this new thing. We have Daredevil, which is new but not new, and they introduced him in She-Hulk to bring him into the MCU, and it's a whole weird master plan. We had the Fantastic Four showing up at some point.
Mm-hmm.
In the Marvels movie, it's going to be Captain Marvel. You got Rambo's Marvel. You have Ms. Marvel. So we are introducing new characters. Are they all getting their own standalone stuff? Not at once.
Mm-hmm. No.
So, but you need to introduce them, and because I think at the same time people were saying before, oh great, it's another origin story movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, different, but Batman, like that's a different. Obviously, right. It's not Marvel, but anytime they said they were rebooting that franchise, it's like, all right, do we really need another origin story for Batman? We already know that. Can we just have a movie where he just takes off? He's Batman. Let's go. We know.
Right. It's how many times have we seen this. And that was the thing with like Spider-Man.
Mhm.
Whenever they did Spider-Man Homecoming, everyone's like, great, it's another origin story for, we're going to see, yes, he got bit by the spider. Oh my goodness, Uncle Ben died. Da, da, da.
Right.
So they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Because
That's true.
you've seen it in what, 5 years beforehand, you saw it twice.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it's let's not do it again. Well, we mentioned it in a throwaway line.
Yep.
When Peter Parker and his friend were walking down the street. It was just, oh yeah, sorry about your, oh yeah, just a quick little thing. But we didn't need to do a whole movie to it.
Right.
Now, granted, She-Hulk. All right, most people don't know She-Hulk or how she came about and whatnot, so we need to touch on that. Kate Bishop. No one knows who she is, so there we are. We have the Ironheart series coming up, and that was we got introduced to her in Wakanda Forever, and now she's going to get a series. So we got here's how she came about, and now now that you have an idea, we're going to here's a series that you're going to be able to follow along and get to know this character better.
Now, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say. So Kevin's already been working at this, and he's doing a very creative way about it. It's no small task, but he's definitely trying to. At the same time, is it fair to just give these characters one movie?
I would say no, depending on who the character is. I would say no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just for like Black Widow, she definitely did not need a second movie.
Yeah. Well, this is true. This is true. So that one having a standalone movie was more than enough.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's building because now you have those characters. You have 3 characters from that movie going into Thunderbolts.
Now, but I'm wondering now, because I know he's trying to make Disney Plus more profitable, correct?
Right.
So I'm wondering, because I'm assuming that theater attendance is down. That's what I'm assuming, because a lot of people just want to stream stuff, or they're going to wait till it comes out on streaming. So I'm wondering.
That's part of the battle. Part of the battle right there with the theater is that people now know that, well, I can pay $20, $30 for the movie to see when it comes out in theaters, and see it on the big screen and enjoy it when it comes out. Or do I wait 3 to 6 months and catch it when it comes out on Disney Plus in the comfort of my own home for a service that I'm already paying for?
Right. So my point is like, does he cut back on motion picture releases and push more for the Disney Plus to make that a little bit more profitable, knowing that you're not going to get as many seats, bodies in the seats in the theaters. So he tries to push the Disney Plus product to break that in. That's the only thing, I don't know. I'm not in charge of that stuff, but I'm just wondering, like, what his grand scheme is, because he's going to try to make it profitable. And if nobody's going to see these things in the theaters, why is he wasting the time? Drop it in the theaters.
Right. And that I heard Jim Hill and Aaron Adams on the Marvelous Disney podcast were discussing this, about how is there a metric, or that Disney needs to have a metric of how many people saw Ant-Man in the theater and have a Disney Plus subscription and are never going to watch it, assumably watch it on Disney Plus. And I did message to Jim. I don't know if he's going to say anything about this, but I did say to him that they actually kind of do. So Disney has the what is it called? Disney Insider app.
Okay.
Program. So what it is, kind of a movie reward program. Yeah, Disney Insider is what it's called now. So what you can do if use this app, you get points for redeeming codes inside the DVDs. If you have Disney Plus, you get bonus points for that. Different things like that. One of the ways you could get points is if you go see a movie, you scan your ticket or you upload the information, and you'll get points for seeing it that way. Now, they also, if you hook up your Disney Plus subscription through there, you'll get points that way. So there is a metric now that has been created to measure who's seeing what movies and has Disney Plus.
Okay.
Now, granted, this is a small sample.
It's a small sample, yeah, because not everybody's going to have that, right?
But it is a step in that direction of figuring who is double dipping, who is going to the movies and also Disney Plusing, who is just waiting for Disney Plus.
Right. So if they get a high number of people just waiting for it to come out on Disney Plus, that could sway them to go, okay, we're just gonna, But I would think it depends on whatever So if it's Captain America, I'm just throwing one of your big guys out there. Maybe a bunch of people will go to theaters to see that. But if it's Ant-Man, they're gonna wait to the streaming. So it could be depending on what movie it is. I'm thinking.
Well, I think that's part of it because is Ant-Man's following as strong as, say, Captain America's or the Guardians? I'm gonna say no because you always look at the numbers and that's always been a mid-tier movie.
Right.
So, but Guardians has always done really well for them. So, I would say when Guardians comes out in May, depending how that does, is a better measure than how Ant-Man did.
Right.
Plus also what markets are they being released in and this and that and all the other things. So it's never as simple as people want to make it. There's always a lot more. And also the other thing on top of it is, like you said, trying to keep Disney Plus profitable. How do you make an online streaming subscription service that you don't want to overcharge and that you're competing against 100 other competitors because everyone wants to get into that game profitable?
Yeah.
And keeping new content and making the content at a quality level, which means it needs money.
Yeah, that's a tough situation because we're in a weird time right now where you still got the movie theaters there, you have the streaming there, and you still have TV. Now we all know a lot of people now don't watch TV, but it's still there. They'd rather stream stuff. So you got these three things that are out in limbo, and it's just what direction they're going to go in. We have no idea at this moment. It's all there. It's like, where do you spend your money?
Terrestrial TV is still a thing, and you still need to put stuff on there.
Yeah.
So you have to put money towards that and advertise. Granted, you have the advertising sponsors and whatnot that are going over and helping with that. But even at that is kind of a weird battle that's going on. And then again, going back to Disney Plus, do you put advertisements on there? Do you not? Do you pay extra for the advertisement? Pay extra not to have the advertisements. You could go for a lower subscription, get advertisements,
right?
And then try to sell those advertisement spots.
I wonder if it'll go to way like, okay, the theaters are gone. That's gone. If you want a movie, you got to pay the extra. Eventually, it's going to be on the streaming, but do it in a way where it's going to be on Disney Plus for 3 months. You have to pay the extra $15 if you want to watch the movie.
Well, they did that.
Well, yeah, but then they went away with that stuff. But I'm just saying, like, do that. If they're not getting anything in the theaters, why? Again, it gets to my point of why waste your time sending it there. Redo the thing where you got to pay it on Disney Plus, but don't bring it back as fast. Let it sit out longer, like say 6 months to a year before you bring it on the streaming service to make people know that, listen, I got to watch this now because it's not going to be out for another year. You know what I'm saying? That would push people to buy it, But I don't know. I'm not. Marketing is not my job.
No. I'm sure it's an idea that's being toyed with because, like I said, they did do that for a time especially when there was no theaters or wasn't safe to go to theaters, where, okay, we have this movie. If you want to see it early,
Mhm.
You pay us 20, $30, whatever it was, and you can watch it now instead of waiting the 3 months before it'll be free.
Right.
The downside to that is if you have 50 people over.
Yeah. Oh, true. Yeah. Yeah. Or you're
Versus,
sharing not that I would do it, but people
and
share
then also,
passwords.
but at the same time, then you have the one person who's watching it by themselves.
Yeah. True.
So it's a weird number system. Because Xbox was playing with that.
Mm.
Xbox was playing with that idea, and the people fought back on it because you'd be able to watch, it was like sporting events or movies or something through their Xbox system, but they were going to use the Xbox Connect, the eye system, the webcam eye system that they have to monitor how many people were watching it. So you couldn't have more than, it was like 5 or 10 people, whatever it was, in a room at a given time to be able to watch this event.
Yeah.
For the price point that you were paying or not paying or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then people just did not like the idea of the system monitoring how many people were watching it, and it just became this whole whole rigmarole of taking away rights and invasion of property privacy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that marketing has toyed with in the past, and I'm sure it's not an idea that has completely gone away. And how do you do it effectively?
Yeah, true.
So that is, yeah. That's kind of the battle that's going on there.
But I did see what it was. Once he wanted, they're keeping Disney is going to be like with the cutbacks or whatever. They're still going to go forward with their main guys, which is Star Wars, Marvel, Pixar, right, and all that stuff. Those are still going forward. But I think some of their side projects might be shipped off to other places, like that want to produce them. Right, but Disney will still make money off of it because it's still kind of their product.
Like some of the lesser
Did you hear
projects,
something about that?
Let other places develop them,
Yeah,
or stream them, kind of sell it off. That's kind of a rights management area with the IP. Like for instance, if you want to watch the Die Hard movies, which is a Fox product,
right,
which is owned by Disney. Disney owns Die Hard. So you go to HBO Max to watch it.
Yeah. No, I want to watch it on Disney Plus.
Nope. But right now, HBO
It's on
Max is paying Disney for the rights to show Die Hard.
Die Hard. I got you. I see what you're saying. So HBO Max is making something, but they're also giving Disney the cut for renting it to put it on their platform. Gotcha.
And you could even go to the parks end with this. Is the Marvel characters in The Simpsons. If you want to see attractions and rides in a theme park based on those characters that Disney owns, you go to Universal. And Universal has to, every month or whatever basis the contract is on, has to write a check to Disney
to have the rights to play. Oh wow! Otherwise, they would have to remove that from the parks.
There's a rumor out there that The Simpsons that they're going to let those rights run out.
Really?
Yes. That Universal will be letting the rights for The Simpsons to run out, which means Disney will be able to pull those IPs into the Disney parks. So you'll be able to see potentially, at some point in the future, Homer Simpson walking around with a thing of donuts in the Hollywood studios.
Nice. But I wonder why they would do that. I wonder if maybe the lines are not as big, for that attraction anymore. I don't know. That's just.
It's not that old of an attraction. But either it's not long enough, or again, it comes down to the almighty dollar bill.
They're trying
what
to
are
pay
we making
money
off of this?
Yeah.
What are we paying for it? And how much more would we make if we put in something of our that we do control?
Yeah, put some of their own. Yeah, exactly. We'll make 100% profit over one of our own stuff instead of renting one.
Right,
Yeah.
either 70, 80%, whatever it is. Even if it was,
Whatever, yeah.
even if they were making an 80% profit, that's still 20% that they have to give away.
Exactly. And 20% of a lot of money is a lot of money.
Exactly. It's more money than either of us have.
Yes.
So yeah, there's a lot of the logic and thinking going on there. So it's like I said, it's a very convoluted path that people will say, oh, well, you just do this, you just do that. Yes, but there's a snowball effect, and one thing affects another thing, which affects another thing. So, yeah, I don't envy the job that Iger has ahead of him. Yeah, as far as content, like I said, he's always, and Leonard has brought this up, that he's been Matt Leonard has been very much pointing out that Iger is very much let the creatives be the creatives. Now, is he being maybe a little firmer with them at the moment? Yeah, because what's at stake here?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're trying to write a ship, you do have to put a little more restraint. You can't give everyone carte blanche opportunities. So do whatever you want. But he's trying to put the things back in the creative ends, but trying to control them. So yeah, a Thor 4 and a Ant-Man 3, be it Ant-Man 3, definitely more as far as the overall scope of things necessary. Everyone's talking about how bad it did. If you look at the numbers, it actually isn't quite as bad as people want to make it out to be.
Yeah.
They just want to jump on things. Because the initial week, it actually performed higher than I expected. So, but like I said, you're kind of battling yourself because the other people are going, well, I'll just wait a few extra weeks and catch them when it's on Disney Plus.
Right. But I am happy though that he is leaving the main, like he's focusing on his main areas.
Yes.
So that means like if there's anything greenlit, this is how I would take it. If anything was greenlit for these shows, like Star Wars, for instance, because that's where my attention mainly goes to, then hopefully those shows are still going to be, going forward. They're not going to cut them.
Yeah, if it's in production, it's in the works, it most likely we will see it.
Yeah. I mean, my only
Acolytes at the moment is still going on.
Yeah. My only thing with Star Wars is, okay, all right. So when you hear this, okay, we're not going to have a third and a fourth movie of a certain character because the attendance or the box office isn't that good. But okay, you had one flop basically in the Star Wars. Well, a lot of people didn't like. Some liked, some didn't like the sequel trilogy. But it was Solo to me that popped up there that everybody hated. And
Solo
it caused
is the whooping boy.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
I don't know if we can still say that. But right. Solo is the one that everyone is the one that everyone drags out into the mud and say, look at this.
Right. And that movie is the blame for us not having any more Star Wars at the box office because they're being
I am going to make a stance here and say it is not solely Solo's sole fault.
It was the return. It was The Last Jedi and then Solo. No. What?
It was the fanboys who got up in arms about Solo and say, that's not Harrison Ford. Yeah. That's not Billy D. Williams. This isn't the movie that we've been waiting for. This is wrong, and we're going to put our foot down. So you put your foot down, and now we're dealing with it. And you know what? There's a petition now from all those same people that are going, we want a Solo too.
Oh, man. The only reason why I want to see a Solo too is because you introduce Darth Maul at the end, and that's it. Game over. Well, what are we doing here?
So
that's my point. Yeah. But that's my point, though. Is like, okay, now we're being tortured by not having any films because they're saying they're being particular. It has to be the right movie. That's what I read on one of the things. It has to be the right movie in order for them to go forward with. Well, that's nonsense. You're greenlighting a third and a fourth movie on other stuff. I want a standalone Star Wars movie. What are we doing?
But you have to, but keep in mind that Marvel and Star Wars, even though they're under the same umbrella of Disney,
They're run by
are
different
two
people.
separate companies.
Right. They're run by different people, and I get that.
Yep.
I get it.
So, for Marvel to say you could have a fourth Thor movie where he's doing splits in midair and crushing robot skulls with his thighs because he's like Zangief.
Nice.
Is okay.
Yeah.
You can't make a Solo 2 because we don't talk about Solo.
We don't talk about Solo. Nice.
Again, so convoluted because they're two different companies. So
Right.
for one to say that is okay, and for the other to say is okay, it shouldn't make sense, but it does.
Yeah.
And at the same time, though, as much as people want to knock the prequel trilogies, one of the highest grossing movies to date is Rise of Skywalker.
Really?
Right?
Wow.
Or Force Awakens. It's one of
those.
So one of the prequel trilogies is
Right.
one of those highest grossing movies.
Right. And then just to go to the point where we're talking about, do you want to go to the theaters or watch it, or do you want to wait till it comes on Disney Plus? You drop a Star Wars movie, I'm going right to the theater. I want to see that right away. I'm not sitting there waiting until it comes on Disney Plus. So I'm like, I don't know. There is a big base out there that would love to run to the theater for a new movie.
Well, yeah, it's it is kind of that weird. I mean, yes, you want to say that, but at the same time, there's other people that say, you know what, I will wait for it to come out on.
Right. It comes down to what you're a fan of,
Right. So, here we go. All time. Let's see. Nope, Daily Record. They've switched up Box Office Mojo. Sorry. So yeah, one of the lifetime gross top. If I'm reading this right, if I did this right, top grossing lifetime gross movie with 936,662,225 dollars is The Force Awakens.
Okay, that was the first one. So I can see that, though, because everybody was starved for a new movie. And that, yeah, I can see that.
Then number 12 is Last Jedi.
Wow.
16 is Rogue One. 17 is Rise of Skywalker. 21 is Phantom Menace. 22 is New Hope. And everything else is further down the line.
Yeah.
Everything else, let's see. Oh, Revenge of the Sith is 49. And so that rounds out the top 50. For lifetime grosses. Domestic too, at that.
Yeah. But again, I can see that because it was so long between movies, and they probably marketed the heck out of that thing to get, people out there. I mean.
Oh, well, they did. They absolutely did. As much as people made fun of the title, they absolutely did. So that is. They made money off of it.
Yeah.
And is it something that we're going to see circle around at some point? Yes. At what point and what fashion and whatnot, we don't know, but it's not going away. Will we see another Star Wars movie at some point? Yes. At the moment, though, it's transitioned very well to the Disney Plus, and Book of Boba Fett, maybe not quite as the highlight as the other ones, but Obi-Wan Kenobi did a good job. Mandalorian is still knocking it out of the park.
Bad Batch.
Andor.
Yep.
Andor did fairly well. Some people may not like it as much as others because it was different. But in general, it was received very well. Some people are upset that there's only going to be a second season, and that's where it ends.
Yeah.
But
you can't go much further than that, though.
It's translated very well to a episodic series.
Yeah.
Type of situation than say other stuff has.
I mean, with that though, like just knowing what time frame it is, where it's at, you really can't drag it on too much longer. So I would say one more season, boom. That's what I'm saying. Like with the Kenobi series, I kind of do. I want to. I think I've said this before on the cast. Do I want to see another one? Yes, but I kind of wish they would just leave it as it is, because they got to dance that tightrope in that area and try not to cross storylines and
Don't
stuff.
cross the streams.
Yeah, so it's like as much as I'd like to see it, it's like, okay, I think you skated it, you did a good job of it, leave it be.
Yeah. So yeah, we will see with all that, but they do promise that movies are in the works. They're taking this opportunity. They have the time to be able to do it, to make sure they get the right movies out.
Right.
So that we're getting everything on the streaming end with the series and whatnot. Let's enjoy that. So that way, this is Star Wars as it is now. Yes, movies are coming, but don't force them to rush it, because then you're going to complain about what you get.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I agree. It's just, you just see like all. I don't want to see 2 or 3 Star Wars movies a year, but when you see all these Marvel movies that come out nonstop, and you're like, man, I'm getting 2 or 3 movies a year, and I'm getting nothing on the Star Wars end.
At the same time, though, Marvel is a wider brush.
True. Yes.
To paint with than Star Wars. Star Wars is a very finite thing, and so you have to be a lot more careful with your storytelling there. Lastly, also mentioning or displayed was some new technology that the Imagineers are working on to potentially bring into the parks in some form or fashion. There was a rabbit-like animatronic, free walking, completely controlled by itself, that could crawl out of a box, walk, or actually rollerblade, fall down, pick itself up, and keep going. It was, like I said, a rabbit-like creature. And some people are making reference that it looks a lot like Judy Hopps.
Judy Hopps, yeah, from Zootopia.
Which they didn't officially say that. This is just what people
speculated.
Are kind of, oh, well, it's got rabbit-like features and this and that.
I mean, but if you do look at the picture of them side by side,
you can make a very good argument for that.
Yes.
And what I was going to say, to justify the point, is they're working on, for Hong Kong, the Zootopia area. So, you are getting, the pieces are kind of falling into the parts of the puzzle. So that's could be something that you're going to see there. Is it going to be attraction? Is it going to be kind of a walk around their character? Is it a background? We don't know yet. This is not something new, though. This is a continuation of the Imagineers working on something that they call the Living Character Initiative, or Living Creature Initiative.
Right. I can only assume that it won't be interactive with the park attendances, because I mean, that's going to be some expensive stuff. So I don't think you want somebody going up.
It's not even just that; these things are heavy.
Right.
So
you don't want nobody getting hurt, and you don't want anybody breaking the stuff. So
bumps into a guest,
right?
Yeah, which was one of the things that, as awesome as it would be, again, the legal end of things raises its hand. That in Galaxy's Edge, you were supposed to have droids walking around.
That would be cool. Yeah, but can you get your foot run over by a droid?
Exactly.
Yeah. R2, beep beep. Oops, sorry.
You know, it's one thing if C-3PO bumps into someone in the movies. It's another
Right.
thing if C-3PO bumps into somebody in the theme park.
In the theme
And,
park,
oops,
yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
I'm just a protocol droid.
Right.
Will not cover the legal ends of the guy,
exactly.
this person screaming their head off, saying that they broke their left arm, even though that
Right.
the
You have
character
to
bumped into his right arm.
you have to sign a waiver before you enter Galaxy's Edge.
You cannot sue an autonomous robotic being,
Right. Exactly.
or it's thank the maker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of an initiative that they've been working on for a while. Because a while ago, you had Lucky the dinosaur, who would walk around, guarded and make sure that people do not get in his path, which was a dinosaur pulling a cart. Then you had the Muppets Lab, which was Bunsen and Beaker, and a mobile lab that would be floating around, blowing bubbles and interacting with guests that way. We saw a video of a Wall-E unit
Ooh.
going around. More recently, we saw a Groot,
Mm-hmm.
a full-size, a baby Groot, walking around in full costume in their offices. So this is something that they have been working on for quite some time. And this is now the next step of it, that they've figured out, okay, the character falls down, it can get up, it can do all these different things. Trying to bring the characters more realistically out of the movies into their parks.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the next one also that they brought up, which was the interactive life size, as in the size that she's supposed to be, not human size, Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell.
So a 2.5, 3-inch tall Tinkerbell in a oil lamp.
In an oil lamp. Thank you. I was wondering what that was.
It is a lamp.
Yeah. Okay.
A lantern. Interacting with guests that way, where you would ask her a question and without a delay or anything would answer properly.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked like it was a contained video.
Yeah.
It wasn't an animatronic, it was contained video within this device. Now they didn't say if it was verbal or if it was like Tinkerbell's bell sound that was responding, but from the reports that I heard, that it respond in appropriate manners and appropriate ways to whatever question was posed to it.
So is it an AI, or is it like somebody who's actually there listening behind the scenes, talking through it, acting through it, and just being filmed over there? You understand what I'm saying? Or
that is hard to say, because they have the latter. And they've utilized that between Monsters Laugh For.
Well, that's what I was going to compare it to, the
Carol
Monsters
Talk
Laugh
with
For.
Crush.
Yeah.
All that is interactive through someone behind the scenes controlling a interactive CGI figure.
Mm-hmm.
But is it possible now that they've come up with an AI program that does this?
Mm.
It is quite possible. Now,
That's
obviously, they're not letting the secrets out yet.
Right. Yeah. That's interesting, though. But I would assume, could you tell the difference between if it was if you go there and experience it, would you be able to tell the difference if it was AI or somebody behind the scenes?
Possibly not. Depending on what way that it's interacting and responding with people. I wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And where did it say? Because I didn't see. Did it say where that would be? Whenever it's launched, where it would be, like what park, or I didn't see anything, so I don't know. Okay.
No, not yet. And this is all. This may be even something that will never even make it to the parks.
It may not even come, right?
Because as much as that makes it to the park, there's a lot of things that they work on that the parks never officially see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that they're building all these things, and we'll see a version of it that has changed umpteen times in X number of years.
They're kind of they're brainstorming kind of way. I would assume this is like a brainstorming. They're pitching this, and see where it goes. If
Right.
it's well received,
not
we'll
just
put it in the parks.
They're not just putting it on paper; they actually build it.
So this is the Imagineers in the background coming up with things that could work in the parks, and then just seeing if it takes off, if they get the green light to put it in. I got you. All right.
So, yeah, that's kind of how that all is going. I mean, it harkens back to the days when Walt bought the little wind-up bird from a store in, I think it was Louisiana, and brought it back to his office and had his Imagineers take it apart, figure out how to work, and that's how you got the animatronic tiki birds, which were the first animatronic characters. And then you build off of there. You have the Abraham Lincoln to now Elsa and the Wicked Witch and all these other characters that are now throughout the park.
Well, it's interesting, man, because like I said, I couldn't find anything in the news, and then I Googled Disney News, and then we were texting back and forth. I'm like, I was wrong. There's 5 different headlines.
Yes, this episode, folks, is brought to you by Dave saying there's no Disney News.
There's no Disney News. You're welcome. No. I was wrong.
That's why I say this is why I do a Disney podcast, because there's always something to.
There's always something
always
going
news.
down.
There's always something to talk about.
Yeah.
And on that note, Dave, it was a pleasure talking with you.
Yes. Thank you for having me again.
Always a pleasure. Always the pleasure. And we'll be doing this again soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you again, Dave, for joining us. Let us know what you think. Some of these statements that Bob Iger has put out there, what you think they mean for the future of the Disney company. Join the conversation on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/WDMagicCast. Our Facebook group is facebook.com/group/WDMagicCast. Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, we can be found at WDMagicCast. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we're at WD Magiccast as well, and click the notifications. This way you can find out anytime we post something fun on there. Plus, find the audio version of the show there as well. You can leave us a voice message through the Anchor app or Anchor.fm website, or record your own voice message electronically on your tablet, computer, smartphone device, and email it to email@wdmagiccast.com. You can also email any questions or suggestions you may have to that address as well. Links to all these are in the show notes and on our website, which is www.wdmagiccast.com. I want to thank you for your time. I know how little time we all have these days, and knowing that we get to spend some of this time together means a lot to me. I cannot thank you enough. But if I could ask you, please go to Apple Podcasts, go to Stitcher, leave us a rating and review, and really help people find out about the show there. That is the easiest way to let people know about the show. Because we get enough rating and reviews, those podcasters will also help promote the show. We have all 5-star reviews on both of those at the moment, and truly, we're all blessed over here at WD Magiccast. Thank you so much. Keep them coming. We need more. Please leave your 5-star reviews on there and help the show grow. If you don't want to do that, please send out a link on your social networks. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, whatever you have. Share the link out. Let people know how to find the show. Check out this episode. Please put it on there. Let them know that you're listening to WD Magiccast. The more people we have joining our family, the better. Walt believed in a big Disney family. Oops, sorry about that. Walt believed in a big Disney family, and so do I. Don't forget to subscribe to the show where you're at it. This way you always know when new episodes are posted. And while you're at it, consider becoming a premium subscriber. Really help the show out. You can do this over at anchor.fm/WDMagicCast/support, or find our Patreon page. All these are in the show notes. Don't forget to check out our merchandise shop. Get yourself some really cool WD Magiccast stuff. Travel mugs, shirts, hoodies, you name it, we got it. Well, we have a lot of things. Check it out for yourself. Because remember, this show is brought to you by listeners like you. In Japan, broken objects are often repaired with gold. The flaws are seen as a unique piece of the object's history, which adds to its beauty. Consider this the next time you feel broken. Never give up, never give in, be your own hero. And let the world see how special you truly are. Now I'd like to end this week's show with a quote from Walt Disney himself. Well, I think by this time my staff, my young group of executives, and everything else are convinced that Walt is right. That quality will out, and so I think they're going to stay with the policy because it's proved that it's a good business policy. Give the people everything you can give them. Keep the place as clean as you can keep it. Keep it as friendly, Make it a real fun place to be. I think they're convinced, and I think they're going to hang on after. As you say, well, after Disney. That's from Walt Disney again. Thank you again for listening, everyone. And I'll see you next time.